This one clean?
I think it's over there.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them.
All right, we live, y'all. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give divine honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught us this 100% truth according to the spirits that be. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Peace and blessing to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word to the four corners of the earth and true sincerity to you. I always say Shalom. So it is the younger brothers class, as you see this title, the riches of the kingdom. I want to go into a little exhortation and essentially, why we do the thing we do. We go out, put forth his word because essentially we striving for that reward that the Lord has lied at the end of the tunnel. That's essentially what Yahweh Shai did, pursuing the Hebrews 2. That's how he's able to undergo the particular things he went through because he was focused on receiving that glory that the Lord has stored up for him for completing that task. So we're going to go into a couple of things what entail of the kingdom. Of course, it's not going. It's not going to be exactly because this is just merely an image, and this is what we can imagine through what the Lord has given us through these scriptures. But we know that the things the Lord is going to give is going to be our heart desires. It's going to far exceed anything that Esau could have given us on his side, right? So I will start at the Proverbs 29 though, 29:16.
Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 16 it reads, "When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall."
Actually, I think it's verse 18, but you can read that 16 again though.
Verse 16.
Yeah, you can read it, but I think the point I wanted. What does 18 say? Does it say?
Where there is no vision.
Yeah, that's it. Read that one, Bobasha.
This is Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 18, and it reads, "Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he."
Exactly. Like I said, where there's no vision, the people perish. And we've received the vision by way of the Spirit. The Lord, Yahweh Shah, when he left, he said he's not going to leave us comfortless. He left the comforter. And what did the comforter give us? The understanding of these scriptures. And what does the scriptures entail? It entails the destruction of Esau's kingdom and all those other ones. And it also goes into the sovereignty of the throne of David, which that's what we're looking forward to, the sovereignty of the throne of David, because being here in this captivity, all we've known is slavery. You probably grew up in a Christian church, or when you was going to Esau's indoctrinated schools, you was learning, okay, all you come from is captivity. You just a nigga. You just been picking cotton. Or if you're Northern Kingdom, we came over, we took your land. That's all you know. But the Lord, he has promised particular things, you see. And even through the scripture, we get the understanding of why we in the position we in. And we get the understanding that the Lord's not going to leave us here, you see. So we could get, if a brother ain't got no precept, come to mind.
I just had that word riches.
Okay, you get that, Bubba Shah.
The word riches as a noun on the etymology line. It says value possessions, money, property, abundance of means, state of having large or valuable possessions.
Read that again, Bubba Shah, because that's the thing too, because, being here in this captivity, our understanding of riches is not, even though we know what riches is according to the scriptures, you could get caught up in like, damn, this nigga got a lot of money, he got all this, which that's not even riches, essentially, because all that is, essentially, a lot of the money that Esau has there is supposed to be backed by silver and gold, but it's not. It's just paper, because initially it was known as a silver certificate or a gold certificate, which you'll trade in, you'll trade that in for essentially so you don't have to carry around all your gold. It was supposed to be more convenient, but Esau ran away with it and made it to where now niggas is running around here. Well, I got $1 million. Well, you got $1 million. Well, you supposed to have $1 million worth of gold and silver, but you don't have that. You see, Esau hoards all those particular things. Because when you go into the rich banking families, when you go into niggas like Hell Gates, they have substance. You see, here it is. Hell Gates, he owns like what 76% of all farmland. That's substance right there. Because when you go into ancient time, when in ancient time, our people wasn't trading money, paper. Oh, no, they was giving resources, spices, cattle, particular things. And we're going to go into scriptures. What does true riches look like? You see, you go ahead.
Yep. It says again, riches as a noun in etymology. It says value, possession, money. It's like the priest made the point. The true money is the resources.
Yeah.
Not some piece of paper. This actually, I was talking about this not too long ago with the brother Yazarala and the Apostle Ramla when he was down here a couple months ago. And really, when you go into the money, it's unlawful.
Yeah.
The currency that we use, the fiat dollar, right? It's unlawful because it's mixed fabric. So not only is it not even backed by anything and becoming weaker as time progresses, you know, but also it's technically Levitically unclean and unlawful,
Exactly.
right? It says
The devil for you.
exactly. It says property, abundance of means, state of having large or valuable possessions.
Exactly, large or valuable possessions, and that's what we're going to get in the kingdom of heaven. You know, you read about it in Psalms 2, because as lately you've been hearing people talk about how the heathen going to be in the kingdom, they're going to be sovereign with us. We're pursuing the Psalms 2. It says otherwise. His brother can actually pull that for me real quick. Psalms 2, because the Lord Yahweh promised something unto Yahweh Shai, right? So my brother got the Psalms 2. Pull that for me real
I can
quick.
grab it for you.
Come on.
Go ahead.
I think it's is it like verse 1 and 2? Psalm 2,
When the heathen for thine inheritance.
Yeah.
That's verse 8.
Okay, calm, Bubba. Try to get that for me.
This is Psalm chapter 2 and verse 7. It says, I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Verse 8, it says, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
Now, that's true riches right there. He said that he's going to give them slaves, servants, and he's going to give them resources, the uttermost parts of the earth. Because we know we're going to receive the earth, in different particular things, but it said the uttermost parts of the earth. So the particular things that Esau hasn't even gotten to, he hasn't tainted yet. You see, but that's part of that's riches right there, man. Having servants, because when we get into some of our forefathers, a part of their riches was having servants. Because you got to think about it. If you have a lot of resources and things like that, you got to have somebody that can kind of manage it for you, because you can't be the one always managing all of it, because it's going to take too much of your time. So you're going to need somebody. You have to set somebody up to manage it for you. That's what we're going to have in the kingdom of heaven. You see, we're going to have all these heathen, and they're going to be put to work. We're not going to be down there building up the kingdom of heaven. We're not going to be paving it with gold, things like that. No, we're going to be given the blueprint, and they're going to follow it. You see. So if a brother ain't got a precept, what you have?
Yeah, going to the point, Matthew chapter 13 and verse 44, it says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field. All right, and the scriptures speak about how that if our gospel is hid, it is hid to them that are lost. And that also it say that Yahweh is a power that hideth himself in the earth. So we receive something that most people just don't have, because it doesn't come from this realm. The faith that we have comes from about the throne of the Most High. It says, the which, when a man hath found and really don't find it, the Lord has to call you into it. It says, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath and buyeth that field. So for the riches and the glory, and as we tasting some of it now, all right, we're looking through that looking glass, all right, we have that unction to sacrifice, all right, for the kingdom of heaven, to go through particular things, all right, for the reward that we're going to get. As Yahweh Shah said, people that forsaken mother, brother, father, daughter, cousin, house, land, for my name's sake, is going to receive 100-fold. So people are going to get these things back, but get it back more abundant. So that's what we're investing in. And that's the point. But I'll read down 2 more verses. Verse 45 says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. So we're exchanging our current lives through obviously the sacrifice of Yahweh Shai. You wouldn't be here. It's not really us. All right, but we're sacrificing and putting in hours at the job so that time, when that time comes, that Yahweh Shai's appearance, that investment, all right, is, we get our reward from it. That's ultimately what we want. And it takes faith to continue so that you can get that. As the scriptures say, he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that seek him. So we're diligently seeking the Lord. You always got to hope in that reward, which is the kingdom of heaven.
Right, because if I could add, just as a man, you'd be lying to yourself if you don't say that you want to be the man. If you don't want to be on a level, if you don't want to have riches, abundance, money, wealth, all of these things that the priests are going into, man. we'll be lying to ourselves if we say that we didn't want these things. But just as we had the example of Yahweh Shai, giving up his body as a living sacrifice to be a servant and to testify of his Father, right, and to ultimately gather the remnant of his people, right, as the elect play a role within that as well under his vibration, for lack of better words. Well, we understand that that's the way, right? As Yahweh Shai said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man can come into the Father but by me. So it's that avenue or that route, which is ultimately the straight gate in which we receive our heart's desire. Because when you read in the books like Ecclesiastes, King Solomon spoke on those things. And we could never obtain on this side the type of glory and the type of wealth and the type of riches that King Solomon had himself, right? But he experienced those things, and he said what? That they are all as vanity, right? It ultimately don't mean nothing at the end of the day, because we're ultimately going to leave it behind when we die to somebody who's going to fumble it, or is going to end up in the hands of another oppressor, or whatever the case may be. You see, so the true rest lies in the world to come, right? As it says in 2 Ezra, the 8th chapter, the world to come is made for few, but this world for many.
Yep.
You see, but you got it.
Hey, beautiful point.
I got one more if I can.
What did you have?
This is 2 Ezra 7.
Okay.
I'm just gonna grab one precept out of here. This chapter is pretty fire, but just going directly to the point. 2 Ezra chapter 7 and verse 9, it says, if this city, speak about the kingdom of heaven, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, as we're going to, which is Israel's inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, so if you don't go through the straight gate, if you don't follow Yahweh Shai, if you take that wide path, how shall he receive this inheritance? Going to the point that he said, like Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai, he literally ran from being king.
Yeah.
He put off that. He made himself of no reputation. So likewise, we're arming ourselves the same way, knowing though at the same time you still gonna get the reward, and that's what it's about. Being like Yahweh Shai.
God, beautiful point.
Can I get one, bro? Just to land back off that Psalms 2nd chapter.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, this is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 15 to 16. It says, "Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity. Because thy sins were increased, I have done these things unto thee." Right, which the priest eventually wants to grab that Isaiah the 60th chapter, which ultimately aligns itself with this sentiment. The Lord brought great wrath upon us because of our disobedience, right? But it says, verse 16, it says, "Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil." Right? And spoils is ultimately a form of riches.
Yeah.
When you conquer another nation, right, they become your spoil.
Mm-hmm.
They become your possession.
Booty.
Right? So just finishing off the verse, "And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey."
Hey, beautiful point. So we could, if you want to, brother Ghana, we could jump to Job 1. Job 1. Could a brother give me in the BLB, the BLB? Yeah. Well, it's in KJV, but just get in the BLB because I want to get some of those words. You're gonna start at verse 1. You're gonna read verse 1 pretty much.
All right, this is Job chapter 1.
Yeah, that's why I just call it the BLB. I call it the BLB, but yeah, the Blue Letter Bible, yeah. Okay, go ahead, Bob. Sure.
Job 1:1, it says, "There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared the Most High and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep."
Now you gotta imagine this, man. Right? It says the substance also was 7,000 sheep. Keep going.
"And 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East."
Now you gotta think about this, right? Because it said that he had 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, which if I'm not mistaken, I think that's like 1,000. And it says, and 500 she asses, and he had a very great house, and he was the greatest in the East. And this is what Job achieved being in his body, because we're going to also go into what King Solomon had. And these particular things are really just previous to what we're going to receive to the kingdom of heaven, because the scriptures say the meek shall inherit the earth. These individuals didn't have the earth, you see, But in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to far exceed the particular riches that they had received. But even this right here, we can't even fathom the particular things Job had, right? So could you get the word house?
Household.
Yeah, how get up very great actually, or very.
And on to your point, the scripture says that the least is going to be greater than David. So you can imagine the level, the relationship the Lord had with David, and what David had, of course, his actual substance. But it said that the least is going to be greater than David.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's crazy in its own self.
Yep.
Talking about Zechariah 12. They that are feeble shall be as David.
Yep.
Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, that's what it is.
The house of David shall be as God.
Yes.
Allahayim, man. It just came out of camp yesterday. Yeah. But you wanted that word great?
Yeah, see what very or is it very great together or just separate?
Yeah.
See what
Exceedingly, the word Strong's H3966. My R. I'm sorry, my I. It says exceedingly much.
Exceedingly much. You see, you gotta think about that.
Muchness.
Exceeding.
Force. I'm sorry.
Now you go ahead and say it.
No, I was just saying force.
See,
Yeah. Abundance.
you keep going on it.
Come on, it says exceedingly, force.
And what's that word right there?
That's very.
That's very. So exceedingly force, abundance. Right now, get great.
Okay.
Because it's like a double. It's like a double. It says very, then it says grace. Because very says exceedingly, abundantly, right? That's what Job had. You go ahead.
Strong's H7227. Rob. It says much, many, great, many, abounding, more numerous than.
More numerous than, you see, because you got to remember when you read later in the verse, it said he was the greatest in the East. So he's more numerous than other individuals. You see, so say he had a very great, abundant, right? And get that word household.
All right, that word household, Strong's H5657. Ibada. Might be pronouncing that wrong. It says service, household servants.
Household servants. So he had very great, abundant household. So he had servants. You see, a lot of them. Because you got to think about it. The particular animals that was mentioned right here, camel, sheep, yoke of oxen. These are not small animals, and sheep and some of these animals require a lot of care. They require their own territory in a sense. So you got to think about it. Job had a lot. He had a lot, man.
Right. Because the root, I mispronounced it, because the root of that is ibad, which means to serve.
Exactly.
To work, serve, labor, work, to do work, to work for another. You see? So he has servants. He
had a lot of servants because he's going to have a lot. So now relate that to us in the kingdom of heaven. Because if we're going to receive, you see, we're going to have a kingdom, a vast kingdom. It ain't going to just be on the planet Earth. It's going to stretch to the galaxies. It's going to be everlasting. And we're going to have a lot of servants because we're going to have a lot of abundance. You read about it in Job 14 that Lord, Yahushua said it. There's many mansions in my Father's heaven. Those mansions are going to different planets. You see?
I got a quick one.
You got it.
Proverbs 14:28 in the NLT. A growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing.
Exactly. A prince without subjects has nothing. Because what is a prince? He is eventually going to become a king. And without subjects, what? He going to have to do the work himself. You see? We're going to have subjects in the kingdom of heaven. And those subjects, as we read in the Psalms too, they're going to be the heathen. Ain't no Israelite going to be sitting there working in the kingdom of heaven. The priest just mentioned how the little of you should be like David. David wasn't working. He was the king. He had servants. That's what we're going to have in the kingdom of heaven, but it's going to be in abundance. You see? Because it said Job had a very great household. You see, he had a big land allotment. He had to have, and it depended on what region he was in, depending on how many acres he will require. You see?
If I may, in the NLT, Job 1:3, he owned 7,000 sheep, 5,000 camels, 500 teams.
And this is what true riches is. You see? That's what Esau pretty much owns. He has. That's why the scriptures say in Deuteronomy, you should go to your enemy in the want of all things, because Esau, we go to Esau for money, but really we go to get our food. We go to get the substance. We go to get our oxen, which is already chopped up, sheep, which come in the form of clothing. That's what Esau owns. He just weaponized it against us. But that's what Job had. You see? Go ahead.
For anybody that knows, cattle is not cheap.
Exactly.
Buying an entire sheep or an entire horse or an entire
Even a goat.
Exactly.
Bro. Talking multiple thousands of dollars for one. So do the math. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
About 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 teams of oxen, and 500 female donkeys. It says he also had many servants.
Many,
You see?
many servants.
You know?
That's that great household. So I had to look up, how much a sheep costs. That's just one mere animal. It says I just looked up in the regular Google definition. I just want to see what it says. It says the cost to buy a sheep varies wide based on the breed and quality. So Job had the best quality sheep.
Right.
It wasn't no half. No, he had the best quality sheep. That's why he was the greatest in the East. Because with Job having those particular things, the ones under him, they had those particular things too, but they didn't have the best of it. You see. So it says the cost to buy a sheep varies widely based on breed and quality, but generally ranges from about $75 to over 1,000 pure animal. You gotta think about this. So how many sheep you said he had in there?
So he had 7,000 sheep.
7,000. You see, so yeah, exactly. But it says like he said 7,000. So you had to number that. If you was trying to do the math, hypothetically, how much we, in today's 1,000 head. You see, and that's just sheep. A person can only imagine you just have 1,000 just animals running around. Exactly. That's exactly the room, because that's a whole nother ball game. The space, you got to make sure that the land that you on is good.
Those rolls, those big old rolls of hay.
Exactly that.
They have to break down.
Exactly. I mean, hey, if a brother have like a kid or you have like a dog, that costs money to have. You have a dog. It ain't like, okay, I got a dog, I'm chilling. No, you got to pay for the food. You gotta, they gotta get they gotta have nurses, vets. You see, that's what Job had. They gotta be. I ain't seen it, but I be seeing it. I ain't watched the movie.
Well, that's a good example of what it takes to take care of, even though Job had way more than that, but to give you an idea, he had a ranch, with people having to come. He had servants,
Yeah.
Taking care of horses and all of those things, processed food, and, everyone don't have the same skills, so yeah, you needed a guy to know how to process and so on and so forth. But that's a great idea, a good understanding. Look at that, man. Job was living.
Exactly. Hey, like I say, it's what's meant. Now that's an example. That's what true riches looks like. You see, for any newcomers coming in or whatnot, you think, oh damn, man. Then he got like true riches is what is describing right here what Job had, because when you kind of really get into it, you gotta have certain land, you gotta have certain room, you gotta have servants, you gotta have resources. You see, even in ancient time, a lot of times frankincense was on a level of gold. You see,
and even like just for newcomers, just the mentality of it all.
Yeah.
Because where we're at in prophecy is the true riches is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
That's why King Solomon,
That's
in 1 Kings, the 3rd chapter, when he took the place of his father David, and ultimately took the throne, he didn't pray for abundance of riches, although those things came. He didn't pray for the abundance of women, although those things came. He didn't pray for those carnal things. He prayed that the Lord would give him a mind to ultimately judge such a great people. But I also had a precept. I don't know if you.
Nah, you get a precept because I'm trying to find it.
Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. You see, so that's the real riches right there. The fear of the Lord, because that goes forth before the attaining of anything when it comes to leading you on the right path and keeping you on the right path. The fear of the Lord. All right, those particular qualities of wisdom, knowledge, understanding, charity, being brotherly, these qualities that we've learned via the scriptures and what we have in the examples of our leaders, these things lead into everlasting life, man.
Hey, that's what scripture say, that wisdom bringeth to a kingdom.
That's right.
You see, so and the root of wisdom is fear. So that fear of the Lord, that's what's going to bring us to these particular riches that we desire. Because like you said, you'll be lying as a man saying, I don't want to be the man. I don't want to have substance. I mean, why the hell you even go to work? Right. That why you think that a lot of particular dudes be killing each other over substance. I want what he have, things like that. Well, in the kingdom of heaven, we all gonna have it, and it's gonna be exactly.
Even the women, man.
Yeah.
They lie and say, no, I only want, I'm not gonna be the only wife and this and that. but they're a liar because their future was to walk in their present. They all forget about that. And they know he got plenty of women.
Right.
But they just saw his resources. I was like, oh shit, I'm good.
Mhm.
So they just forgot all about the other women he was not with, the kids he had. You know, that just went all that shit went out the window. Like,
No, you
but,
good.
you know, but that's just how women are. So in the kingdom,
Can you hold
they
up
gonna be
Proverbs
good.
10,
They see the Israelites.
10 and 22?
You know, they gonna be good. They gonna have service under us.
Yeah.
They gonna be appointed with service too.
Exactly.
They ain't gonna have to do
Mm-hmm.
all this. No, they gonna have service too.
That's what who was that?
Handmaids.
Who was it Sarah? Did it have a servant?
Yeah, I mean they.
Sarah, Rebecca.
Yeah, but like, cause you know, you read about Sarah having one because she couldn't bear a child, so she made her servant do it. Like that's an example, though. You see, like the priest mentioned, like our women, they gonna have servants. You see, you said you got one.
Yeah, going into like really the aspect of the mindset of Yahweh when it comes down to how he gives, you know, and this was right after the Lord sent Nathan the prophet to talk to David, because David had one off.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to go directly to the point. Second Samuel chapter 12 in the GNT verse 8. This is the Lord.
The door should be unlocked.
All right, it says, I gave you his kingdom and his wives. I made you king over Israel and Judah. If this had not been enough, I would have given you twice as much. So that's the mindset of Yahweh Bashim Shah. That's the Lord's mindset over us as a father to a child. All right, in that given aspect, as the scriptures literally say, that the Lord will give you your heart's desire. We're gonna get our heart's desire in the kingdom. All right, so when you think about what you want and everything, Yahweh Bashim Shah, hey, he'll give you twice as much. And if you getting whatever, and you got a the Lord gonna double it. The Lord is gonna double it. So that's the type of power that we're dealing with. The power that he's gonna give for real. It ain't gonna be not enough or whatever. If that ain't enough, he's gonna give you more.
And you gotta remember what the scriptures say. It says that it's a Father goodwill to give us a kingdom. You see, so the Lord wants to give us the kingdom of heaven, and of course, He's going to beautify us because we His people. You see, what other person? That's why, you know, a lot of times you know, in this world you have a son. The father, if he has a lot of substance or whatnot, or money, I guess you say on this side, money, he spoils his son. His son is literally a spoiled brat. Why? Because that's how the Lord is. That's how He's going to be with us when we've earned it. Because there was a point in time when He did kind of give us everything, but we didn't understand it. But now coming back into it, beginning with Yahweh Shai, we understand it. And now He's giving it unto us. You see. So could you before you get that, could you get the Psalms 112? Start at verse 1. Baba Kashal.
God. This is Psalms 112 and 1. It says, praise ye the Lord. Blessed is the man that feareth the Lord, that delighteth greatly in his commandments. His seed shall be mighty upon the earth.
See, so it said, blessed is the man that feareth the Lord. You see? And that's going to essentially, at the end of the day, the whole nation is going to be fearing the Lord. But, you know, it's beginning with the elect, starting with Yahweh Shai. You see? Read that again from the top, Baba Kashal.
Psalms 112 and 1. It says, praise ye the Lord. Blessed is the man that feareth the Lord, that delighteth greatly in his commandments. His seed shall be mighty upon the earth.
His seed gonna be mighty upon earth. Now you gotta think about it. You know, you can't have a lot of kids if you don't got substance. You see, in this world, if you got a lot of kids, you better have some money, because if you don't, you're gonna be struggling. When the kingdom of heaven, the Lord said that what? He said a little one should become 1,000. So if a little one gonna become 1,000 in the kingdom of heaven, that's mean that the type of environment, the type of things that the sons of God are gonna have is gonna be on a high level. They're gonna have a lot of substance. You see. Because we're not going to be needing anything. We're like, oh, damn, I need this. No, we're going to be able to trade one another. Brother might have a whole bunch of sheep, or he might have a particular stone that you want. That's another thing too, because we're going to get into I want to get into King Solomon and when he was making the temple and things like that. You know,
Right.
King Solomon wasn't cheap, man.
Right.
He was when you read it, when we're going to get it, when you read it, it said it made his throne out of ivory and paved it with gold. So you got to think about that. So you get back to that, Baba Kashal.
Psalms 112 and 2, it says, his seed shall be mighty upon the earth. The generation of the upright shall be blessed. Verse 3, it says, wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness endures forever.
Exactly. And that's what's going to happen. Wealth and riches is going to be in the house of the Lord. You see? It's going to be in the kingdom of heaven. We're going to have wealth and we're going to have true wealth and riches. You see? Right now, you have particular guys that even the understanding of wealth on this side, they'd be like, "Oh, you just have money for generation, generation." But nah, who really have wealth on the side is Esau. And when you talk about Esau, we're really talking about the top bankers. They really have wealth on this side. Like that's why when you read in Revelation 13, when it comes down to like the sea hill, they're not included in taking that. You see, because they're sovereigns. They're the ones that had a true wealth. They control. They pull the strings of the earth. It's going to be flipped, and that's going to be given to us. We're going to have a true wealth in the planet Earth. You see? Yeah, we just went into that. We just went into that. We just got that Psalms too. You see? That's part of the wealth. That's part of being blessed. Being blessed is having servants. You see? That was it on that, right? Could you get this Proverbs 10 real quick? Because even if you achieve this is what Esau doesn't have, right? Because Esau, he has these riches, he has his wealth, right? But he's troubled in it. You see? So get this real quick, Bubba Shah.
Proverbs 10:22, it says, "The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it."
Exactly. The blessing of the Lord maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow. So Esau, he has wealth, he has riches, he has substance, but he has a lot of sorrow. You got to think about the sons of God waking up, and then you got the lower echelon of his people. They just threw. They have substance, but they threw. But he's worried. You see, he's not sitting there relaxing. Here it is. He's sitting on a pot of coffee table made out of marble, spitting out coffee on it because he see the sons of God out here teaching. But we're not gonna have that in the kingdom of heaven. In the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna have the riches, but ain't gonna be no sorrow added with it. You know what they say? More money, more problems. We're not gonna have that in the kingdom of heaven, man. We're not gonna increase in riches, more servants. It's like, dang, man. I think I got too many servants on this planet. I'm at the trend. Nah, we're gonna be chilling. We'll probably make the planet bigger if we got to extend it, a new part added. We're gonna be on another level, man, in the kingdom of heaven. That's what we had to look forward to. That's part of that vision that we read about in Proverbs 29 and 18. That we look at. That's why we striving, because the Lord said, I'm gonna give you something and you can't really imagine it.
Precept.
You got it.
Revelation 21 and verse 4, just getting to the point, this is after New Jerusalem receives a new body, the crowning ceremony, everything takes place in the heavens. And we come back down to establish, under Yahushua, to establish judgment in the planet Earth. It says, "And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away." You got it, bro.
Can I read that again? Right from the top.
Revelation 21 and 4, it says, "And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow." And
no
more. Read the sorrow
exactly
in Proverbs, that's not added unto the blessing from the Lord.
And that's the biggest thing too, because I didn't even mention that, because speaking about how death to a rich man is not, it's not something you want to hear, because Esau, that's what he has to deal with. That's why Esau, he's like he's big on alchemy and trying to be immortal, because he realized, okay, I got all this stuff, but I don't really get to enjoy it. I might have, and then on top of that, he's giving it to. That's why they keep it in the sea line, because they understand reincarnation. His son might not do by it, right? Because he didn't really work to get it. You see, so that's nothing too. Esau got to deal with. We ain't got to deal with death. We're like, okay, we accumulate all that. That's what King Solomon. Because when we get into his stuff that he had on the planet Earth, even he understood eventually it'll be vain because he'll die. He'll leave this earth and it'll be given to an individual, and it's not guaranteed they're gonna forward it. And which we've seen it. That's not what happened with his son. You know what I'm saying? And then, they could, like you said, other ones could get their hands on it due to captivity, being oppressed. You see, because the priest mentioned, like, if you get taken over, you become the spoils. That includes everything that you have. That's what happened in the book of Joshua. When we took over those canyons, the particular things, it was certain things. The Lord's like, nah, destroy that. But a particular gold and stuff, the Lord said, get that to the Lord. It became spoils to us.
It says, "Nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain."
No pain, no back pain, no knee pain. You see, you ain't gonna have that pain. Well, dang, man, the day almost over. Imagine not being bound by time. You see, not being bound by time. You ain't gotta rush nothing anytime. Cause we know how it is in this kingdom, man. You have a good time, it go by fast. But as soon as it's bad, it feel like you in it forever. We ain't got to deal with it. We're gonna be outside of time. You're gonna see your kids grow up. You ain't got to worry about the kids being eaten by any animals, things like that. Scripture speak about how the kids gonna play with the lions, exactly, the serpent, things like that. You see, that's no sorrow.
For the former things are passed away.
Exactly, this queendom. You see, this wretched queendom, the death throughout the four corners of the earth that this devil's pushing, that's gonna be passed away, man. We ain't gonna be seeing that no more. We're gonna make the heathen clean up all that shit, man. You see all the waste that they put into the water, the plastic, nigga, you're gonna go scuba diving today.
And
You see?
ultimately, these chains of darkness,
Yeah,
we got to be released from these vile, wretched bodies that we're in, man, because they subject us to that very sin.
exactly.
And under the man of sin, that's just been multiplied, as the scripture says in Proverbs, 29, when rich are in authority, when the wicked are in authority, evil's multiplying on earth.
Exactly.
You see, that's where we find ourselves today.
Exactly. We're gonna see an earth where the Lord is blessing it. You know, we ain't seen that. For long we've been seeing the Lord sending nothing but death and curses on earth because who's in rulership. But we're gonna see an earth where the Lord is blessing it. How does that look?
The Garden of Eden. The whole earth is gonna be like
Exactly.
That's right.
It's gonna be different.
Exactly. See? So if a brother ain't got no precept,
If I can, real quick, can you read the next verse? Because the next verse really, does it say make all things new?
Yep.
okay,
That's
yeah,
right,
that
that's
is
right.
even okay. The water.
Verse 5, Revelation 21:5, it says, and he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful.
Just bad what you're saying. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Everything's going to be
You get that
new,
word
you know
new
what
ain't
I'm saying?
that
The Lord's
out of
saying
spirit.
that, you know, just like the Khan mentioned, you know, what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We've never seen it. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You know, all these things, Esau's world, you know, all this madness we have been doing, to go through, you know, all that's about to go away, man. You know
Exactly.
the old, this is the old, and the new is the kingdom of heaven, ruled by Jacob, beginning to start with our big brother Yahushua.
Exactly.
So he's about to make all things new. You know, Israel finna win, man.
Exactly. That's what we got to look forward to, man. We finna win. And we at the door, man. We close. We close, man.
When this takes place, we in the new covenant. The earth is going to be unrecognizable because from the when our hell break loose on the day of the Lord. So when Jerusalem come back down from the chariots, man, this place gonna probably be beautiful because you know how now you say, oh shit, let's go to Bora Bora. You can see it on the map, but mounds and everything gonna be shifted out of the place where you're gonna be like, dang, this look clean now, you know. Where the heathens, they're not gonna know about that, you know, at that time. But all of the shit that's going on, they're gonna have to clean all that up though. But still, when it's when the earth is, you know, at its where it's yielding its fruit. I mean, not yielding its fruit anymore. Where it's producing again. Man, it's gonna be a
Yeah, get
beautiful
that way
place,
though.
you know. But as Priest was saying, you know, they got to clean this up first.
Yeah. And even like you saying that, man, not to cut you off, even like you saying that, man, you could still go to particular parts on Esau while he ruling and it look nice. So you gotta think about that. If the Lord kind of got like Esau got like little, the Lord has to where Esau got little parts that look okay, you know, good enough to where you be like, dang, it's beautiful. The water. Imagine when we in rulership.
It's
Like
really, if I may, it's really places like what we're looking at on this TV.
pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
Where humans don't really go. It's really those places you can breathe the best.
Exactly.
You feel the best. You feel rejuvenated, reinvigorated.
And this is not even the earth giving its full strength.
Right, exactly.
The earth is holding back because it knows who's in rulership. So imagine the earth that is giving its full strength. You see?
Yep. I got that word new.
Come on, Baba Shah.
I'll read the verse again. Revelation 21:5. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. Now we wanted to grab that word new, which is Strong's G. I'll pass this. Strong's G 2537. All right. Kainos. All right. It says, recently made fresh, unused, unworn.
Ooh.
Unprecedented. So ultimately refreshing it, like you mentioned in the Garden of Eden.
Exactly.
That's what we're going back to. Paradise ultimately, man. Right? All things being restored and refreshed and made as new.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
God. You got it, man.
So Acts 3:19 says in the NLT, it says, now repent of your sins and turn to Yahushua, that your sins may be wiped away. All right, and really that is referring to Yahushua, because Yahushua is the one, the scriptures say all judgment was committed on the Son.
Yeah.
So Yahushua is going to be the one, you know, sparing individuals, you know, through the jurisdiction that he was given. But this is verse 20. It says, then times of refreshment will come from the presence of the Lord, and he will again send you Yahushua, your appointed Messiah, for he must remain in heaven until the time for the final restoration of all things, as God promised long ago through his holy prophets. You know, so the refreshment, restoration.
Yep.
Things that y'all were touching on, so I'm bring that up.
refreshment. Ain't nothing like something being refreshed, man. Cause that's the thing. Because that's the thing, man. You know, the earth. Because people thinking, like, oh, the earth gonna be destroyed. Nah, the Lord not gonna destroy the earth. He's just gonna refresh it. You see, bring it back to that Garden of Eden state, which we haven't seen ever since the fall, essentially, pretty much. You could,
all the way back to Adam.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
as we're at the worst time, the Lord's gonna turn it right side up.
Yep.
And it's gonna be like we're in a whole nother earth.
This is kind of like if you seen the old Planet of the Apes when they was looking at, I think it was like New York. Yeah, the old one, and it was all, but it was like they told the dude this New York, and he was like, well, he seen the Statue of Liberty poking out. Exactly, so it's gonna be like that, pretty much for the heathen, even for us looking at it, man. We at 40. Okay.
Man.
I see new elements.
Exactly.
New colors, new other things, new different waters. Man, come on, man.
No limitations.
None.
All right, we're gonna jump around in the book of First Kings 10. You know, when Queen of Sheba, when she came to see King Solomon, and we're gonna go into the riches of Solomon, how she was astonished and things like that. But I'm just going to. But you start read verse 1 and 2. We're gonna jump around though.
First Kings chapter 10 and verse 1, it says, and when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions.
Exactly. So first off, King Solomon had some fame. You got to think about that. Why? Because how he was doing it. You know, you got to remember when the Lord asked him, what do you want? He said he wanted to receive the wisdom to be able to guide and, you know, be a proper ruler to the nation of Israel. The Lord said, okay, since you didn't ask for those tangible things, I'm going to give you those. But he gave him those things in surplus. You see, like, it wasn't like, no, he gave him things in the surplus. You got to think about it. This is on earth. You know, this is before the kingdom. He's still in the decrepit body. This ain't the kingdom of heaven. So you got to think about the level King Solomon was on, because David was on the level, but David already said it when on his deathbed, like, I pray the Lord make further your kingdom. Your kingdom will be greater than mine. You see, so you go ahead.
Verse 2, and she came to Jerusalem with a very great train.
Right? And when you go into that word train, you know, train, she came with a retinue, pretty much going to assembly of particular men of high officials. You see, she didn't just pop up on King Solomon with some niggas. Nah, she came to King Solomon, because you gotta think about it. She heard the story. She's like, okay, this man, he's on a high level. She's a queen of Sheba. She's on a level. Right. You see, she has particular riches. She has particular substance too. You know, she's been around, whatever. So she's like, okay, we're gonna come. We're gonna bring a train of men. You know, training officials are high level. And what do they come to do? Go ahead.
It says, with camels that bear spices and very much gold and precious stones.
Exactly. So they came to bring substance to give unto to King Solomon. You see, because that's what the heathen gonna be doing for us. It says, if we could get to it, it says about that in Isaiah 60. You know, but you go ahead.
It says, and when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart.
Exactly. Asking particular questions. You know, when you read it in the Josephus, right? Because I had read it. When you read it in the Josephus, it kind of goes more into detail. She was asking about particular, I guess you could say, riddles of her culture and things like that. And King Solomon was pretty much like sharp with it. He was able to get him quick, and she was astonished because, you know, she was like a philosopher. That's the particular things she was into. So she was astonished, like, dang, he's getting these quick. You know, he doesn't even know about them. So she's astonished at the knowledge and the wisdom that he had. But we noticed that wisdom came from the Lord. Go ahead.
And Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king which he told her not. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom and the house that he had built and the meat of his table.
Exactly. So when she's seen it, right? Because, you know, the Josephus gets more to it. But when she's seen it, right, she's seen the particular things, his servants, right? She's seen it. Even when you're reading the Josephus, you know, it goes to how pretty much she looks, the servants were more dicked out than her. She perceived the servants to be like, dang, y'all the king or something, you know? Because they was more, yeah, I think about that. But that's also a representation how all Israel gonna be glorified in the kingdom of heaven too. But you gotta think about that. You a queen, so you on a high level. You come through, you looking, you know, obviously the servants meet you, you know, this Queen Sheba, Solomon already know you coming, you know, and she looking like, dang, they decked out. These individuals, they on a high level. He's probably king or something, whatnot. Then she finally see the man, you know, King Solomon. See, and this is on earth. This is before the kingdom of heaven. This is a prelude. You see, and in the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna far exceed what King Solomon had. But you just gotta think about that. Like imagine that, like, dang. A woman, Queen of Sheba, she pops up. She has substance herself, but she's astonished at looking at what she's seeing. You go ahead.
I just want to grab this here, just research this information. It says King Solomon's wealth is described in the Bible as enormous, so large that even modern billionaires would look small next to it. While we can't get the exact number, historians and economists can estimate his wealth today to be, talks about the talents, 666 talents, 1 talent, 75 pounds, 34 kilograms. Gold price today is 2,000 per ounce. 606 talents of gold, 25 tons per year. Goes on to say here, roughly about 10 trillion, which would make him the richest man in human history.
Exactly. You gotta think about that. This is the richest man in human history. And the Lord said, the meek shall inherit the earth. We're gonna get the earth.
And they never give him his credit either.
Exactly.
They always talk about what's his name?
Master, they're making a movie about him, bro.
And he's probably balling too. But they talk about Genghis Khan, right?
Right.
But why do we never talk about Solomon?
Right.
We know why.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want to read this real quick in the Josephus, the water to the brother Rahim and Bar. But when you get in the book of Josephus, I don't even know what chapters it is. I just wrote the page down. But you go to page 172. When you read down here, it's right here. It's like verse 4 or subheading 4. But it's going into King Solomon, right? And this was something that was crazy. It says the king had also other rulers who were over the land of Syria and the Philistines, which reached from the river Euphrates to Egypt, and these collected tributes of the nations. Now these contribute to the king's table and to his supper every day. 30 corn of fine flour. This is every day. You gotta think about that. It said every day, not next week. No, every day, 24 hours, boom, next day. King Solomon was receiving things, man, from these heathen nations. So it says every day. It says 30 kori of fine flour, right? It says 60 of meal, as also 10 fat oxen, 20 oxen out of the pastures, and 100 fat lambs. All these were besides what were taken by hunting, harts, and buffalo. So this is on top of what he had particular people hunt. You see? So not only, you got particular people hunting particular things for the kingdom, but he had heathen come and bring more. You see? And this is day to day. That's why, the priest had mentioned, y'all he mentioned how he was the richest man in human history, because who got something like that coming day to day, that much substance day to day. You see, and this is only a little of it because it talks about the gold he received every year, fine gold at that. You see, you guys know?
I was gonna say, and we're gonna experience this because the scripture speaks about how our gates are gonna be open.
Yeah, that's Isaiah 60. You got that? Yeah, I had it on deck. That's Isaiah 68. I had it on deck though. I wanted to kind of get that towards the end. I had kind of hold off on the Bible to try to get on mine. Yeah, that's that Isaiah 60. That's what I had it on deck. But that's all I pretty much had on there. But you can jump back to the.
This is back in 1 Kings 10:5. I'll read verse 4 again. It says, and when the queen of Sheba has seen all Solomon's wisdom and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his ascent by which he went up unto the house of the Lord, there was no more spirit in her.
Exactly. So you gotta think about this. You go to the concerts. Well, we see on YouTube, a lot of brothers too young for them concerts. They probably ain't one there, but Michael Jackson had these females passing out just by his mere voice. Hey.
Standing there.
He's just standing there. Exactly. You got to think about that though. Michael Jackson, he had them passing out. Exactly. So you got to think about this. So that's what Michael Jackson had. But King Solomon, he had Queen of Sheba passing out on him, looking at his glory. And you got to think about it. This is not like no ordinary. This is Queen of Sheba. She's seen stuff. She's seen different kings. She's seen different riches. She's seen substance. So it wasn't exactly. It wasn't like she wasn't king to it. She wasn't. She was foreign to it. She was like, just a little. No, she was king, so she knew about it. But when she came to Solomon, so she was like, shit. She was like, hold on, this. Exactly.
It's another level.
It was on another level. Yeah. I'm trying to.
You gotta understand, even on that level, is that she was looking at a man of the Lord.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to get at because I was trying to find it. I had looked it up in the chat.
So she's looking like the customs and like
exactly.
These people on point,
That's what it was.
Clean and just the way,
Where is this shit at, man?
again,
Not shit, but
the Levitical law and all of that stuff, the customs they keep. She looking like, man, these brothers here, I ain't never seen nothing like that.
all right, I know, brother. Now I was gonna I had found it because I had asked the chat, this when I was looking at it some weeks ago. I was looking at the chat, I asked about it, right? And it said, this is I forgot I put in, but this one part has stood out to me. It says, if a queen as wealthy as and wise as Sheba was nearly breathless in Solomon's presence, it means Solomon operated. It means that Solomon operated on a level, and it says power, wisdom, wealth, and divine authority, and it gives like breakdowns. It says if you want, it can break down to when ancient kings like Solomon has such strong presence, and when you read down here, it says that where is it at? It's in here somewhere. Dang, this is not it. Okay, no, my bad. I gotta go up. This is a subsection 5. It says that the kingdom, like how she viewed it, the kingdom operated at a supernatural level. So you gotta think about that, man. Like she's seen, because in order for you to have a kingdom and for it to be functioning, you have to have order. So if these other individuals she's been to, the one she's living in, it has order and function. That's how she's able to get. Okay, we're getting these spices, we're getting particular things. These high-ranking men come with me. We're finna go to Solomon. When she's seen his kingdom and operated on a supernatural level, like you mentioned, she was looking at a man of the Lord. So it was like, dang, he's on a far level that nothing can, even possibly conjure in her mind. How is he even? How the servant's moving like this? How the hell I pull up and the servant, he more decked out than me? Pretty much, yeah. It was humbling to see that. You see, and that's what the sons of God gonna have on a high level. You see, that's why the scriptures speak about, in Isaiah 2, they want to come up and go to the house of the Lord, and they're like, dang. First off, they ain't gonna have no rain, but at the same time, when they come up to it, they're gonna see, we operate. They're gonna love the order that we have established in the earth, because the order that we're gonna bring to the earth is gonna bring peace. Because you gotta remember, these people was operating in the order of Esau for a period of time, and they was balling in a sense a little bit, had their stuff, but they people were destroyed. All these particular things they wasn't messing with. But when the sons of God get in there, they were like, shit.
The heathen, they gonna have their own, in a sense, their own falling aways.
It pretty much.
They gonna be fucking up too, man.
Exactly.
And they gonna get judged for it, and they gonna get back on the right path, and they gonna have to get chastised. Just as the nation of Israel, we constantly had to get chastised. We constantly had to be judged.
Exactly.
You see, because we kept just going after other deities, that are no gods, but just doing what we wanted to do, being like the heathen.
Exactly.
See, can I read verse 6 and 7 in the NLT?
Yeah, but I'm sure you read it.
It says, 1 Kings 10, 6 and 7, NLT, it says, she exclaimed to the king, everything I heard in my country about your achievements and wisdom is true.
Exactly. So the reputation she heard, it was true, right? But it's a little more to it. Go ahead.
I didn't believe what was said until I arrived here and saw it with my own eyes. In fact, I had not heard the half of it.
So the reputation, in other words, she pretty much saying the reputation didn't give him justice.
Yeah.
Like the reputation she heard, it wasn't like, it didn't really give him justice. Like it was okay, it was a lot, but she said when she arrived, this was only the half. Like it was far exceeding than what she saw. She's okay, I hear he got this, and now I'm gonna go check it out. She gonna check it. It's like, oh shit, she done passed out. She fell out on the floor. The servants, oh queen, they're like, shit. You gotta think about it. When she came to see King Solomon, it was far exceeding than the reputation that he had.
It says your wisdom and prosperity are far beyond what I was told.
Exactly, far beyond. You had a point though?
Yeah, because what you read.
Can you jump down a verse? It's a lot in the chapter, but
and that's because ultimately he was mimicking something that was in the heavens. All right, having that wisdom, the scriptures speak about how
I'm looking at the time
by the throne of the Most High. So everything on this earth and what people trying to attain and different things, which is different glories and stuff on this earth. But we're shooting for something. We obtain something. This wisdom that's far outside of anything on this planet. Literally, anything, anywhere. They can't even fathom what's really going on. The Most High through the Son Yahweh Shai, the Son of God on earth, and what that brings, the rulership. As long as we're being obedient to our power and via that new covenant, it's gonna be like that forever. But it does seem This is too good to be true. This is supernatural. It's like a miracle. It is. It's not from something you would know. As Yahweh Shah said, all right, to those wicked men, all right, he was like, you are your father the devil. All right, and also he said, you are from below, I am from above. Like literally, like it's not from here. It's not from this realm. You don't even know. It's like you looking at an angel or something. You can't comprehend that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why the scriptures say, "No, I have seen or heard." You see, like with the stuff the Lord's that we're going to receive, can't nobody really think about that in here. This is like a fraction vision we getting through the scriptures, because we can't really like, it's a taste. We can't really exactly imagine like how that looks, you know, because even King Solomon, his is on a high level, but the Lord said in the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna far exceed that. And Solomon, as you see, he was balling. He was on a high level. So we're gonna get this last point in this chapter, then we're gonna get some Isaiah 6 and we'll close it out.
1 Kings 10 and 18, it says, moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory.
Now you got to think about this. He made a throne out of ivory. Ivory is very expensive today. So he made a throne out of ivory. Keep going.
And overlaid it with the best gold.
Overlaid it with the best gold, man. You see? And even in that same chapter, which y'all should go read it for yourselves, it's tells you about the glory. But it says that in Solomon's kingdom, silver was regarded as nothing pretty much. That's how on a level he was. Like, so imagine if you, like, it's kind of day. If you walk down the street, you see like a copper penny, you know, oh shit, it's a penny. You like, oh, it's a penny. You go throw that in that little, you know, the little pond, people be throwing the pennies in there. You go throw it in there. Well, that's how silver was to King Solomon the kingdom. I mean, when he was in the rulership, silver was looked at it like that, like gold with everything. Gold. You gotta think about it. Imagine you walk in somebody's house, the house gold, but under the gold, and it ain't like, okay, it's gold, but under this like stainless steel or under this like wood. No,
Right.
It's a stone under there. It could be an amethyst stone, but overpaid in gold, you know. And then you go inside the house, everything you see is gold. The floor gold. You see that the certain type of dishes and things is not made out of glass, made out of gold, different stones. Right. The scriptures say how our windows gonna be made out of beryl. Think about your window made out of beryl, man. Exactly.
And kids walking on gold in the street. And so right now the streets are concrete and brick.
And it's up here that it's almost transparent.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fine gold, like it's a whole new level.
Exactly.
And we'll be put in league with the stones of the field as well.
Exactly.
You know, like to understand that what the particular elements are, like being able to be tapped back into that, knowing what the stones are for, how to use them to their fullest extent, we're gonna have all that back. See? Exactly. So it's so much that we're getting, like when we're talking about the riches of the kingdom, the possessions of the people, the possessions of the land, the cattle, right? The possessions of the earth, like, and everything that's in it, it's extreme. And we're gonna have new bodies. We're gonna get eternal life.
Exactly.
Bro, you can't put a price tag on that.
Exactly. New bodies, you have all the riches, all the stone, the understanding of them. Jake being the stones now, but just imagine that. You know, all we know is sheetrock. You see your house made out of sheetrock and wood and shit like that. Could you get that Tobit real quick, Baba Shah?
This is Tobit 13 and 15. It says, "Let my soul bless Yahweh Shah, the great king, for Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires and emeralds and precious stones."
You gotta think about that. The kingdom of heaven gonna be built with sapphire, precious stones, man. Like, I'm getting excited hearing it, man. Precious stones. And it ain't gonna just be a ring. Imagine you have because like we're gonna have to understand. Imagine you have a garment, you know, but it's made out of a stone. The whole garment is made out of a stone, man. You see, that's some high level stuff. That's why the heathen gonna see us and be like, dang. They gonna be like, shit, man. They because the heathen ain't gonna have that. They just gonna build it up and they gonna be in their lands. You know, they gonna be moving stuff around. You go ahead, though.
It says, "For Jerusalem," verse 16, Tobit 13 and 16. It says, "For Jerusalem shall be built up." And also, who's gonna build it up?
The heathen. Exactly. They gonna put this. I remember when the elder I was down here. he had said it. It was some time ago. He had said it. He was like, he was going to the Stone Mountain. He said, and you think gonna put that shit in? The heathen, they gonna put that stuff in. Same now you had us build up the pyramids and all those particular things. I mean, shit, build up the fucking shit Esau got going today, even though his shit sucked. You know, you go to a $500,000 house and it look like a fucking cave. But you see those people, we had to build that, boy. It's gonna be the same our kingdom. Esau, you gonna build this glorious kingdom, man. You and your fellow heathen, y'all gonna build it up. Pave it with gold. If you get it dirty, you're dead. We're gonna come in and take the spot. You see, that's what we got to look forward to, though, because that's what we coming into. Of course, we got to go through this tribulation and all these particular things, but after that, it's gonna be the kingdom of heaven. You see, and it's gonna be the beginning stages. See, that's what we striving for. We striving to be in the beginning of it. I ain't saying, ain't nothing again. 2/3 coming. They gonna see the aftermath, but imagine being at the beginning. As a man, when you building something, you like to see it from the beginning to the end. That's the best part. So you're gonna see it from the beginning to the end. The electives.
But that government that talks about, that ultimately being the elect remnant, that 144,000, that government is going to be, when you think about a government, bro, I don't know about you, brothers, but I'm not tapped in with any government officials. I'm not bumping shoulders and, elbows.
That's different level stuff right there, man.
You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a separation.
Exactly. That's what it says in 1 Corinthians 15. Every man in his order. You see, it's gonna be an order, like it's gonna be a hierarchy, and we striving for the kingdom, but at the same time we striving to be, in the upper echelon of the kingdom. Because of course, all the Israelites gonna be blessed, man. Like every Israelite from the lowest Israelite it's gonna be on a high level. But imagine you on a high level within the kingdom, just on a high level. Like, what does that look like being in that circle? Because I was shocked when he's in the flesh, he was tearing it up. So imagine when he in a new body. You see? But was there some more on that, Tobit?
Yeah.
Come on, Baba Shah.
Tobit 13:16 says, "For Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires and emeralds and precious stones, thy walls and towers and battlements with pure gold."
Pure gold. Imagine that, man. You got to think about it, the sun reflecting off of it. Jake looking flashy out there, man. Was that it? Or Superman?
Yeah, it starts from the kingdom. How the gold is going to be, you're going to be able to see it like a mirror.
It's going to be, exactly.
You're going to be able to see your face like it's a clear mirror. Every detail of your face, that kind of gold
don't exist. Yeah. Exactly. It's not. Yeah, that's simple. It's not on this side.
Because what do they have on the bars of gold? The print? It's like 99.99. Exactly. It's like this is the purest that human is able to get it. That's right. But we're not going to be 101%.
No, we don't have that on this side.
Because that pure is preserved for the sons of God. Because Solomon had it. He had that pure form of gold, but it was only preserved for him. You finish that out.
Verse 17 of Tobit chapter 13, it says, "And the streets of Jerusalem shall be paved with beryl and carbuncle and stones of Ophir." Man, imagine that, man. You got to go look these stones up for yourself, man. You got to go look them up and see. Now, of course, you're gonna get the Esau version. You're not gonna get the actual fullness of like the stone's gonna look like, but you can just kind of get a rough idea. Like, dang, a street. Imagine a street looking like that type of stone with gold on top. Just think about that. So we jump to the Isaiah 60, and then we'll close it out. So if you look at start. I mean, it's a lot of places you can start, man, but you can read. I think it's like verse 9 or 10. Yeah, because 10 is going to how they're going to build the wall.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think it's like, what is 11? Just read 10, Baba Shah. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so read 10.
Yeah. This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 10.
And then it's because when you go into this whole chapter, it's essentially going to how like the Lord gonna bless us. And it kind of goes into like, the different, particular heathen nations will come up to us, giving us particular things and stuff like that. That's what it goes into. So I advise you to go read the chapters because it's a faith. Because that's what we're striving for. Scripture say, like we read in Proverbs 29, where there's no vision, the people perish. You got to stay in tune with that vision because that's how Yahushua got through it. He got through because he was in tune with that vision. He always stayed focused on, okay, the Father said, this is what I receive. Just got to strive. And we coming in the same stead, the same spirit. So we got to be in that same mindset because in the world, these people, that's why they should say they look out the windows and it be darkened because they looking at this shit. We not looking at it. We looking at the kingdom of heaven. So we got to constantly, you got to look through the particular scriptures, man, and get that imagination. Like, dang, man, the kingdom. That's that comfort the Lord gave us. That alleviation. Your woman probably stupid, in the kingdom. She gonna be right. The kids, you know, you don't got that sorrow that like, dang, I got kids here, but they be here too long, it might not go well, you know. Kid could be a sodomite on you don't know. You got particular rappers out here. You gotta think about he got all this money, his kid, a sodomite. You're like, damn.
Magic Johnson.
Exactly. Big ass sodomite. You gotta think about that. Your daughter, she a big ass fucking hoe. Like, that's not something to look forward to. But the Lord's giving us something better through these scriptures. So you go ahead and read that.
Yeah, this is Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 10. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls.
Exactly, the sons of strangers. These niggas don't hear that, man. Genesis, I don't know what you talking about, man. That's talking about the heathen. It said the sons of strangers are gonna build our walls, man. That don't sound like no salvation to me. I don't remember salvation being captivity.
Right.
You
Sorry. I was just gonna say what we read in Revelation 21. I believe it said no more work.
exactly. So
That's for the nation of Israel, man.
I don't think your ass being preserved to fucking work your ass off to the fucking to death is salvation. That don't sound like salvation.
It talks about us entering into our rest. Right. So we rest, we ain't working.
Exactly.
Like the top man, they what the scripture says, they're in their beds.
Exactly.
Beds as a form of rest.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's what they're saying. What's that? I think it's Psalms. In the book of Psalms, it said they should upon their beds they should have the praises of the Lord.
That's right.
What does that mean? In their rest, we're gonna be praising the Lord, and then they say they're gonna have a sword too to commit judgment. We're gonna be chilling, sitting on the throne, killing niggas. That's what we're gonna be doing, killing niggas. Hey man, you fucked up. That 1,000 years gonna be one hell of 1,000 years, right there, man. And then we outside of time, so we can make that 1,000 years feel longer than the bitch for them heathens, man. We outside of it.
You know, on top of that, everything is gonna be perfect.
Exactly.
How we look is gonna be perfect. We're not gonna ever be able to die.
Exactly. Your ass won't
None of
get
us knows what a perfect person looks like.
Exactly.
Nobody on this earth, but we should be that.
Hey, that's why the scriptures say, when he shall appear, we should be like him.
That's right.
Like when we see how it's shot, we were like, dang, bro, we better be on the level. And because he's gonna be the epitome, so we know he ain't gonna be exactly, but we're like, dang, we gonna be miniature versions of that.
Man.
You go ahead, good
If I
dog.
can real
Nah, you got it.
add that Israel gonna be chilling,
Man.
but so who gonna be working? Because the scriptures speak of in Ezekiel is it 39 where it says is it continuing employment? So
Yeah.
who's gonna be doing that?
Continuing
Somebody
employment
gonna be working
forever.
Israel gonna be chilling.
Exactly. Exactly. Bugged out.
But that's the whole point of Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, because when the curses fall, when they fall off of us, they're gonna fall upon the heathen.
Exactly.
So that means automatically they're gonna be going through the shit we're going through.
Exactly.
So, and that is nothing near salvation, if you ask me.
And they gonna get it the worst, man, because they not built like Israel. The Lord designed us on a different level. So exactly, Esau, this nigga, Esau, he committing suicide. You in your heaven, nigga. You don't got no curses on you, and you committing suicide.
You gotta think about it, the heathens, especially Esau, because he would have done away with it.
Esau gonna be
The
gone.
heathens are not promised the new bodies ever.
Exactly.
They're not promised that one day this is going to end. No, you're just going to be in servitude. That's it. Somebody got to be in that role. Somebody got to be the head and the tail.
Yeah.
So they not promised what we got. So that fits on a whole nother. And I love that too. Because for everything that Adam did, it's like, yeah, you ain't gonna never get to that point.
Exactly. Never.
It's gonna be a circle.
Regeneration.
Come back. It's gonna be beautiful. The earth gonna be beautiful. The water, the air,
They're gonna enjoy it.
it's still gonna be a joy. All right, but they're not gonna experience what we're gonna experience. My son can go put his hand in the lion mouth and be chilling. You afraid of that lion?
Exactly.
Because that lion got power over you.
Hey, even when you think about, man, we're gonna be on such a high level. You know, usually it's a blessing to have a son, but they want to have daughters. Cause I'm like, nah, I want to get my daughter to a man of the Lord. That's how high on the level we're gonna be. Because for a man to desire a daughter, that's like because the man want a son, he want an heir. But he gonna be he like, nah, I don't want no heir. I want a daughter, so I can send it to the Israelites. You gotta think, but that's how much on the level we're gonna be. They don't want no sons, man.
You have to Yeah, the scripture says that there's no remembrance of former things when you die. So
Exactly.
each time these people come back, they're going to be seeing us. They're going to be seeing God for the first time all over again.
Man,
Action all over again forever. You know what
man.
I'm saying? You're going to get that fame all over again. Each and every time you regenerate forever, bro. Come on.
Israelite
Think
woman,
about that.
just to add on to your point, an Israelite woman will never be with another heathen. again.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
They won't even want to.
They won't want to. They're gonna be programmed to be right in their mind.
Exactly.
They ain't gonna want to be with they-
Exactly.
They don't want to be with the men of the Lord, man. Hey, whatever you heard, ain't nobody gonna deal with you.
Exactly.
I don't want to be with him. No.
You know. You go ahead, Gadal, though.
Back in Isaiah chapter 60, verse 10, from the top, it says, "And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee."
Exactly. So, same way how the Lord, like I said, Lord does things too. Same way how he was, hey, Lord fucked us up as a nation. But he gonna have that same type of energy when it comes to glorifying us now. You gotta think, we fucked as a nation, we got fucked, man. We done. We to the point to where we just through, man. But the Lord said, with that same type of energy, I'm gonna flip it, and that's how I'm gonna glorify you.
The Lord loves judgment. It was judgment on the left hand, He's gonna punish us, but it's a judgment on the right hand to reward us because it's His good pleasure. To give us.
Exactly. And that's another thing too, man. He want to
see that part in His movie.
Exactly.
We flying around, we got our own chairs, this and that. Everybody good, everybody perfectly fearing the Lord, everybody righteous. You think the Lord don't want to see that? He's not a power that has pleasure in wickedness. He wants to see righteousness, as it says in Psalms.
We had to go through that. In order for us to get all the things we're talking about, even the 2/3, we all had to go through hell in order to get to that point where we reach immortality. 2/3 are going to be immortal.
Exactly.
Yahushua went through hell, but it's like for those that stood stiffly, those elect that were chosen, that's going to be on another level ultimately. But man, that's our right to passage. We earn that.
Now you gotta think about scripture say the whole mind is deep. And that's talking about in the flesh. Imagine in the kingdom. You go ahead, Gadal. We're gonna close it out after this because we kind of at that time.
This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 11. It says, "Therefore thy gates shall be open continually."
And why the gates gonna be open? First off, that let you know we on a level. We got our gates open. Cause we know you niggas ain't gonna be able to do nothing, right? That's like you got your front door open. I mean, that's how it looks in East. If you go into an Edomite neighborhood, bro, they got see-through windows. They got you can see everything they got in their house because they don't got that feel like somebody gonna take it. You see? Well, we gonna have that in the kingdom of heaven. We ain't gonna have that feel like he might snatch my garment.
Well, Revelation 21 says we have angels at ours.
Exactly. They gonna want to try it, bro. It said it's gonna be a chariot over every household. Like you gotta think about that.
There's going to be no lock for the door.
No.
I'm going to live on. I wish the nigga would 144th Street.
He said, I wish.
Wide open.
The chariots are going to be used to bring the indignation. They're going to be doing stuff on earth, especially the fathership of Yahushua coming on, right? So they're going to witness that, and then on top of that, after that, in the whole eternity, they're going to be just floating over us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They don't know.
Over every household.
Well, they're going to see all the kingdom. We're not going to see the ladies. You're going to see
Oh, okay.
ladies flying around. You're just going to see chariots just hovering all over the earth, man. People
I'm
going
making
to
dog
be
read the whole
seeing
scripture. You get that out.
bro, if you get your home, just one, you're just gonna act out on their ass, you know?
Exactly. You go ahead, Gadal. I mean, as a matter of you go ahead, Gadal, and Rod, you get yours, and we'll close out.
That's in Isaiah chapter 60, verse 11. It says, "Therefore thy gates shall be open
Continually, forever, never close. Go ahead.
They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought."
Exactly, and the force is going to the goods. You see? So day and night. It ain't gonna be like, okay, they only came in it. Now it's gonna be 24/7. Exactly. Every time of the day, I better see something come through the gate. Every time of the day. Every time of the day, man. Because we just read how Solomon, he had it come in every day. And that was like on this side, imagine so in the kingdom, it's gonna be far exceeding that. But you go ahead and rock.
This is just on ChatGPT. I typed in gates being open in the ancient world, meaning it says open gates. I'll read now quick. It says open gates mean peace, prosperity, and confidence. Symbolize absence of foreign threats, political stability, no fear of invasion or raiding.
Exactly, because you remember just made it for you remember Genesis. Them niggas at a point of time, well, before they was Genesis, we were still part of Scar. They said that Russia gonna rise up. Well, that doesn't know that scripture because the priest is saying if you have your gates open, that's mean that you have no fear of any outside threat. So that means ain't nobody gonna try. So we had to fear that Russia might pop back up.
Right.
Then that means we don't have no peace of mind. How we gonna have peace when you thinking Esau might come? Damn, this nigga might come back and rule shit. Is that you worried about this nigga? Like, damn, we might fuck up. Damn. This
nigga might overtake us.
Exactly. Like we not gonna have
nobody having no stops.
Exactly. We're not gonna have that thought process in the kingdom.
Like they gonna be on they gonna try to do what we do. Be in front of the king and talk about, our Lord is coming.
Exactly. Bro, it ain't gonna be none of that shit, man. None of that. It ain't gonna be none of that shit, man. None of that, man. Exactly. That's a bugged out thought. But they gonna see in the kingdom.
Well,
they'll see.
If you would have kept reading in Isaiah 6 and that last
well, you go down, it goes into it.
For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish.
Exactly.
Yes, those nations shall be utterly wasted. There you go. So how you gonna be coming back if you being rebellious?
Exactly.
You're gonna be wasted.
You be an example.
You're gonna be the example.
Exactly. The first example, Esau. You gotta think about that. Imagine you got from the heathen's point of view. You just see they around the pit and they just see this nigga Esau screaming, burning alive, and it don't say scripture don't say how long it's gonna last. So we could make that since some niggas wanted to push hell so much. You'll give you your little Greek hell that you like to push. You see.
And one of them nations gonna be good once Esau out of there. They be like, shit, man, we on point. Whatever they say, do it. That Esau gonna be a great example.
They're gonna give him hell too because he convinced him that we were pieces of shit.
Yep.
They find out what we were.
Yep.
Because they're listening to him. Mm-hmm. He gonna get that issue.
He gonna get it from everybody.
Exactly.
They're gonna want to serve anyway because they like it says, kings gonna come in, and surely God is with you. Because we're gonna be bigger, stronger, better. Everything is gonna be way far better than anything that they could possibly even try to imagine.
Right. Life's gonna be good for them. That's the way it should be. You don't have to worry about nobody raping, robbing, and murdering you and all that shit. They like, man, we should have had this long time ago.
That's gonna be the best part.
These other heathen nations, they gonna be like, dang, they should have been in rulership from the beginning.
Yep. And that's how they gonna really beat Esau.
Yep.
Mad as hell.
All right, no more points. We closing out. Y'all good though. Go ahead, Doc.
Oh no.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, kind of. Well, that was it then. Lord's will, that was edifying. Exhorted you, Akim, and you, Aquath out there. To keep pushing because the times we in, man, we at the door, bro. There's so many talks about that beast system, man. There's talks about the C-Hip. The C-Hip down there is just it's main news now. Yeah. You gotta think about that. The technology surrounding the C-Hip, the digital ID, the currency, that's like mainstream now. Trump talking about he trying to be forerunner for the AI. That's mainstream now. So that's let you know where we at, man. So Lord is edifying to the power and spirit of Yahweh by Shai. We're going to end it up with saying call law. Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakakwadash. When they get them honor to the apostles and the elders, great millstone to Yahweh, say shalom.
Shalom.